Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're diving into something huge today. It's AI for the people. Our subject, Grok-3, the hot-off-the-press AI model from Elon Musk's xAI.
It really is a big day. February 18, 2025 marks the official launch of Grok-3, and it's already got everyone buzzing.
So before we get into the details, can you give us the rundown on Grok-3?
Grok-3 aims to be the AI for everyone, researchers, businesses, even you listening in right now. It's designed to be an incredibly powerful tool, one that can tackle a wide range of tasks, making AI more accessible than ever.
AI for the people, that's the goal, right? So let's lift the hood and talk tech. We've been hearing whispers about something called Colossus and parameters in the trillions. Can you break it down for us?
Sure, let's start with Colossus. It's the supercomputer that fuels Grok-3, and it's a beast.
I've heard that.
They built this thing in just 4 months, using over 100,000 NVIDIA H100 GPUs, the kind of processing power you'd need to render a massive, complex CGI movie, you know?
Wow, that's intense.
It's on that scale. And this is what allows Grok-3 to handle the mountains of data it needs to learn.
And perform all sorts of amazing tasks.
Exactly.
That's pretty mind-blowing. And what about those trillions of parameters? What are they? Why do they even matter?
Think of parameters as the connections in Grok-3's brain. The more connections, the more nuanced its understanding becomes. Now, xAI hasn't officially confirmed the exact number, but there's speculation that Grok-3 could have somewhere between 1 to 2 trillion parameters.
Okay, so to put that in perspective.
Some of the leading models before this had hundreds of billions.
So Grok-3 is potentially in a whole different league.
Exactly.
Okay, so we got massive processing power, a gigantic brain. But what's it learning from? What kind of information is Grok-3 being fed?
They've trained it on a diverse diet of data, everything from text and code to legal documents. But here's where it gets interesting. They're also using something called synthetic data.
Synthetic data.
Yeah, it's artificial data created specifically for training AI models.
Interesting. So why go through the trouble of creating artificial data?
Well, one of the reasons is copyright. Using data scraped from the web can lead to legal issues. By creating their own datasets, xAI can sidestep those problems. Plus, they have more control over the quality and consistency of the data, which could improve the model's accuracy.
That's a pretty clever approach. So we've talked a lot about what powers Grok-3, but what can it actually do? What are some of its capabilities?
Well, one of the things that has everyone talking is Grok-3's think mode. Imagine you're wrestling with a really tough question.
Yeah.
When you activate think mode, the model dedicates even more of its processing power to analyzing and solving that problem.
So it's like saying, all right, Grok-3, time to put on your thinking cap.
Exactly. It's like giving Grok-3 an extra dose of brain power.
Now, that is cool. What else makes Grok-3 stand out from the crowd?
Unlike most models trained on static data, Grok-3 is connected to X, formerly known as Twitter.
So it has access to.
This means it has access to a constant stream of up-to-the-minute information.
Wait, real-time information, so it's not limited to what it learned during its initial training.
Exactly. It can tap into the constant flow of data on X. It's always learning and adapting. Imagine having an AI that's constantly reading the news, keeping up with trends, and evolving with the world. That's Grok-3.
That's incredible. How does it handle all of that information? Is it just drowning in data?
Not at all. Grok-3 uses a feature called DeepSearch. Think of it as a super-powered search engine built right into the AI. It can sift through mountains of data from both the internet and X.
To find
exactly what you need, then present it to you in a concise and meaningful way.
So it's not just spitting out facts, it's actually understanding the information.
Right.
And putting it together in a way that makes sense. It's like having a personal research assistant powered by AI.
Precisely. Now, here's another thing that makes Grok-3 truly remarkable. It's not limited to just text. Grok-3 is multimodal.
Meaning?
Meaning it can handle both text and images.
Hold on, text and images. We're talking about an AI that can understand a picture and a poem with equal ease.
That's the goal. This opens up a whole new world of possibilities for how we interact with AI, making it incredibly versatile and adaptable.
This is starting to sound like something straight out of science fiction, but let's be realistic for a moment. No AI is perfect. Even with all this advanced technology, there have to be some limitations, right? What about accuracy?
You're right. Accuracy is key with any AI. That's where Grok-3's self-correction feature comes in. It's designed to constantly check its own work, spot errors, learn from its mistakes.
So it's like having a built-in fact checker.
You could say that. By constantly learning and refining its own outcomes, Grok-3 minimizes those moments when AI makes things up.
What are those called again?
Which are often called hallucinations. The aim is to become more and more accurate over time.
That's a huge step forward in AI development. But, with all this talk of complex reasoning and self-correction, I have to ask, does Grok-3 have any personality? Or is it just a cold, calculating machine?
Well, that's where things get really interesting. xAI has described Grok-3 as having a spicy personality. They've specifically designed it to be witty and engaging, adding a bit of humor to its interactions.
Wait, a witty AI. Now that's a game changer. I have to admit, I'm a little skeptical. Can you give us an example of what that looks like in practice?
While specific examples of its humor are still under wraps, imagine getting an answer that's not only accurate but also makes you chuckle. That's the kind of experience xAI is aiming for with Grok-3.
Okay, you've officially piqued my curiosity. A machine that can make you laugh. Now that's next level stuff. But all this sounds almost too good to be true. How does Grok-3 actually stack up against the competition? What are the experts saying?
Early reviews from some of the leading AI experts have been overwhelmingly positive. Andrej Karpathy, for example, was really impressed with Grok-3's think mode and its performance in reasoning and math. He also highlighted those powerful search capabilities we were talking about earlier.
So it sounds like Grok-3 might actually be living up to the hype.
It certainly seems that way. Even Elon Musk himself has stated that Grok-3 is outperforming everything else that's currently available.
Wow, that's a bold claim. But let's get down to brass tacks. What are some of the real-world applications for Grok-3? Where could it have the biggest impact?
Well, xAI has big plans to use Grok-3 in SpaceX rockets for autonomous navigation. Just imagine AI piloting spacecraft through the vastness of space.
Wow.
But beyond that, Grok-3's capabilities could revolutionize so many fields: healthcare, education, finance, you name it. We're talking about AI that could help diagnose diseases, personalize education, maybe even predict market trends.
That's a lot of responsibility for one AI. Do you think it can handle all of that?
That's a great question, and it brings us to one of the most important aspects of any powerful technology: access. Right now, access to Grok-3 is pretty limited, primarily available to X Premium Plus subscribers. This raises questions about who gets to benefit from this kind of advanced AI.
That's a valid point. If AI is truly going to be for the people, then accessibility has to be a priority. What do you think, listeners? Is restricted access a concern for you? Let us know in the comments. But for now, let's take a deeper look at some of those potential real-world applications. When we come back, we'll explore how Grok-3 could change everything from space travel to the way we learn. Stay with us.
Welcome back to the deep dive. We're in the midst of exploring Grok-3, and before we went to the thought break, we were discussing its potential to impact almost every industry imaginable.
It's easy to get caught up in the abstract when talking about AI.
Yeah.
I think it's important to connect it back to real-world applications, things that could affect our lives. So let's get specific. Where could Grok-3 make the biggest difference?
One area that comes to mind is space exploration.
Of course.
Something that's always fascinated humanity, and let's be honest, it's near and dear to Elon Musk's heart. xAI is already planning to integrate Grok-3 into SpaceX rockets for autonomous navigation. Think about that AI piloting spacecraft through the cosmos, making real-time decisions based on a constant stream of data.
That's a pretty incredible thought. It really shows how ambitious xAI is. But what about things a bit closer to home? How could Grok-3 impact fields like healthcare or education?
Well, healthcare is another area that's ripe for disruption by AI. Imagine doctors having access to an AI that can analyze medical images, patient records, and the latest research to provide insights and recommendations. It could be a game changer for diagnosing complex or rare diseases, even assist with treatment planning.
That could be life-saving for so many people. I imagine it could also help address healthcare accessibility, especially in remote areas or for those who lack access to specialists.
Absolutely. And let's not forget about education. Grok-3's ability to process information and solve problems.
Yeah.
It could lead to truly personalized learning experiences. Imagine students having AI tutors that can adapt to their individual learning styles and provide tailored feedback.
It's like having a personal teacher available 24/7. That would be amazing for students who struggle in traditional classrooms. It could also free up teachers
to focus on things that AI can't replicate, like fostering creativity and critical thinking.
Exactly.
And then there's the world of finance,
Which is all about.
which is all about data analysis and pattern recognition. Grok-3's capabilities could be incredibly valuable for investment strategies, risk management, and even fraud detection. It could also help make financial services more accessible, more user-friendly for everyone.
Not just experts.
Not just experts.
So we're talking about AI that could potentially manage our investments, protect us from scams, and make banking less of a headache. Sign me up.
Well, it might not be quite that simple, but the potential is certainly there. And
Sure.
these are just a few examples.
Right.
The possibilities are really endless. As AI like Grok-3 continues to evolve, we're going to see it impact virtually every aspect of our lives.
It's both exciting and a little daunting, isn't it? But with all this talk about industries and systems, I think it's important to remember that AI also has the potential to transform our individual lives. How could Grok-3 impact us on a personal level?
That's a great question. I think the answer lies in its ability to empower us. As individuals, imagine having an AI that can answer any question you have, help you learn new skills, or even assist you with creative projects. It could be like having a personal researcher, tutor, and creative partner all in one.
That's a really compelling thought. AI not just as a tool for work or industry, but as a partner in personal growth and exploration.
Right.
It could help us learn new languages, write that novel we've always dreamed of, or even compose music.
Exactly. And let's not forget about the potential for Grok 3 to simplify our daily lives. It could help us manage our schedules, organize our information, and connect with others in more meaningful ways.
So it's not just about grand, sweeping changes. It's also about those little everyday improvements that could make our lives easier, more fulfilling.
Precisely. Of course, as with any powerful technology, there are potential downsides that we need to be aware of. One concern that often comes up is the possibility of job displacement, as AI becomes more capable of performing tasks that humans currently do.
That's a valid concern, and it's something that we need to address proactively. We need to think about how we can equip people with the skills they need to thrive in a future where AI plays a larger role in the workforce.
Another important consideration is access. If powerful AI like Grok 3 is only available to a select few, it could widen the gap between those who have access to technology and those who don't. We need to work towards making AI accessible to everyone, regardless of their income or location.
AI for the people, that should be the guiding principle. Now, I know we've touched on this before, but I want to bring it up again. Grok-3's massive size is one of its most defining features. Can you remind us how many parameters it's rumored to have, and why that matters?
The speculation is that Grok 3 has between 1 and 2 trillion parameters. Remember, parameters are like the connections in a brain. The more connections, the more complex the thinking can be. This means that Grok 3 could potentially handle even more complex tasks and generate even more sophisticated outputs than previous AI models.
That's a truly mind-boggling number. It's almost impossible to grasp the scale of that kind of computational power.
It is, and it's a testament to how rapidly AI technology is advancing. What was once considered science fiction is now becoming reality.
So where do we go from here? What's the next step in our exploration of Grok-3?
Well, we've talked about the potential benefits and challenges of this technology, but I think it's important to also consider its limitations.
That's a good point. No technology is perfect, and AI is no exception. What are some of the things that Grok-3 might not be able to do, or at least not do well?
One thing to keep in mind is that AI, even advanced AI like Grok 3, is still in its early stages of development. It's not a magic bullet that can solve every problem or answer every question. There are still limitations in its ability to truly understand and reason like humans do.
So while Grok-3 might be able to process information and generate creative text formats, it might not be able to grasp subtle nuances
Yeah.
of language or human emotion in the same way that we can.
Exactly. It's important to remember that AI is a tool. And like any tool, it has its strengths and weaknesses. We need to use it wisely, thoughtfully, recognizing both its potential and its limitations.
That's a great point to keep in mind. Now, I know we've covered a lot of ground already, but I think there's one more important aspect of Grok-3 that we need to discuss. Its connection to X, formerly known as Twitter. We touched on this earlier, but I think it's worth exploring in more detail.
Absolutely. Grok 3's real-time access to the data swarm from X is one of its most unique and potentially transformative features.
It's like having a direct line,
To the pulse of the world,
constantly updating its knowledge and understanding.
based on what's happening right now.
Exactly. This connection allows Grok-3 to stay up to date on current events, trends, and even public sentiment. It can analyze the conversations happening on X to gain insights into what people are thinking and feeling.
It's a powerful tool.
That's incredible. But it also raises some interesting questions. How does Grok-3 filter through all of that data to find what's relevant and reliable? And how do we ensure that it's not influenced by biases or misinformation that might be present on social media?
Those are great questions, and they highlight the challenges of working with real-time data. xAI has implemented various safeguards and filters to try to mitigate these risks, but it's an ongoing process.
It's like trying to drink from a fire hose. There's so much information flowing through X, it can be difficult to separate the signal from the noise.
Exactly. But that's also where the power of AI comes in. Grok 3's ability to process vast amounts of data
Yeah.
and identify patterns can help us make sense of the chaos.
It's like having an AI assistant that can sift through all the noise and highlight the most important information.
Precisely. Now, I know we've been talking a lot about the technical aspects of Grok 3, but I think it's important to step back for a moment and consider the bigger picture.
What do you mean?
I mean, what does Grok 3 represent? In the grand scheme of things, what are the implications of this kind of technology for our society, our culture, and our future?
Those are big questions, and I think they're questions that we all need to be thinking about.
Absolutely. AI is no longer just a tool for scientists or engineers. It's becoming an integral part of our lives, shaping the way we work, communicate, and even think.
It's changing the very fabric of our world.
Exactly. And with that kind of power comes a great deal of responsibility.
It's up to us to ensure that we use AI wisely, ethically. We don't let it control us or exacerbate existing inequalities.
It's a challenge, but it's also an opportunity. We have the chance to shape the future of AI, ensure that it benefits all of humanity.
So what can we do? How can we, as individuals, make a difference in this rapidly evolving landscape?
I think the first step is to educate ourselves about AI, understand its potential and its limitations. We need to be critical thinkers, questioning assumptions, and challenging biases.
We also need to demand transparency and accountability. From those who are developing and deploying AI, we can't just blindly trust that technology will always be used for good.
Exactly. We need to be active participants in the conversation, not passive bystanders. We need to make our voices heard and ensure that AI is developed and used in a way that aligns with our values.
Those are powerful words. And I think they're a perfect segue into our final thoughts on Grok 3. But before we get to that, we're going to take a short break. Stay with us, because when we come back, we'll wrap things up and leave you with some key takeaways. Welcome back to the Deep Dive. We've spent this episode getting to know Grok 3.
xAI's bold new entry into the world of AI.
From its impressive architecture to its potential, it's clear that Grok 3 is pushing the boundaries of what's possible with artificial intelligence.
It's been a journey of discovery, exploring not only what this technology can do, but also how it might reshape our world and our lives.
As we wrap up this deep dive into Grok 3, I'm curious, what are some of the key takeaways? What are some of the key takeaways we want our listeners to walk away with?
I think one of the most important takeaways is that Grok 3 is more than just another step. More than just another step forward in AI development. It's a sign of how rapidly this field is evolving, a glimpse into a future where AI is deeply integrated into our lives.
AI for the people, that's the goal. But it's not just about the technology itself, it's about how we choose to use it. So what are some of the potential benefits and challenges? What are some of the potential benefits and challenges that we need to be aware of?
Well, on the one hand, we've seen how Grok 3 could revolutionize fields like space exploration, healthcare, and education. It has the potential to make our lives easier, safer, and more fulfilling. But on the other hand, we need to be mindful of the potential downsides, the possibility of job displacement, the risk of bias, misinformation, the importance of ensuring equitable access.
These are what?
All crucial considerations.
Yeah. It's a complex landscape. No easy answers.
Right.
But the more we understand about AI, the better equipped we'll be.
To navigate these challenges and harness the power of this technology, harness it for good.
Knowledge is power, as they say. So let's talk about one of the most mind-blowing aspects of Grok 3, its sheer size. Can you remind us what makes Grok 3 so unique in terms of its scale?
Remember those trillions of parameters?
Oh, yeah.
Trillions of parameters we talked about earlier. That's what sets Grok 3 apart.
Okay.
It's speculated to have between 1 and 2 trillion parameters, which is orders of magnitude larger than many previous AI models.
To put that into perspective.
Imagine trying to count every grain of sand on a beach.
Wow.
That's the level of complexity we're talking.
That's mind-boggling. It speaks to the incredible advancements
that are happening in AI right now.
We're witnessing a technological revolution unfold before our eyes. It's exciting, it's inspiring, and frankly, it's a little intimidating all at the same time. So where do we go from here? What's the next step in our understanding, our engagement with AI?
Well, I think the most important thing is to stay curious, keep learning, keep asking questions, and keep pushing the boundaries of what's possible.
Don't be afraid to experiment, to explore. Explore the potential of AI, but always do so with a critical eye and a sense of responsibility.
Absolutely. It's up to all of us to shape the future of AI. Let's ensure that it's a future where AI is used to empower humanity, not to control or divide us.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into Grok 3, I want to leave our listeners with a few key takeaways.
Sure.
First, AI is rapidly evolving, and it's changing the world. Grok 3 is a powerful example of the incredible advancements that are happening in this field.
Second, AI has the potential to revolutionize countless industries, transform our lives, But it's crucial that we approach this technology with a balance.
Right.
A balance of optimism and caution, embracing its potential while also being mindful of its limitations and potential risks.
And finally, we all have a role to play in shaping the future of AI. Let's use our voices, use our creativity, and our critical thinking skills to ensure that AI is developed and used in a way that benefits all of humanity.
We hope this deep dive has given you a better understanding of Grok-3, and the broader implications of AI.
If you found this insightful, please consider sharing this episode with your friends, family, and colleagues. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of our future deep dives.
Our deep dives into the world of AI. Thanks for listening.